Can you raise it up on the motor?
Yeah. This one? We're not hitting on the prop shaft, or how's the shaft look?
No, you got like maybe 1 inch.
On the top?
Yeah. You want to try to line it this way?
Yeah.
As you can see now, we've got the lifting frame in. The guys just removed the front mount on the starboard engine. The frame's big enough, spans the whole engine room, so we can do both engines with it. Starboard engine's blocked now. Frames up the road, they're going to duplicate the bolt pattern and everything. It's quite a structure they've had to modify those frames with. But it's out and it started, so that's good. For the seawater intake for the engines, the flange here is actually a 5-inch flange, but as you can see it reduces down, and the actual inlet to the pump is a 4-inch. And if we look down here at the sea suction valves, although this is 2.5-inch pipe, you can see it's a reduced nipple here, so this is actually 3-inch. So one of my ideas with it is to put in another sea valve in place of this one here. We can bore that out and put in a duplicate valve, and then come up to 2 3-inch strainers. The surface area between the two is not that different then. And the other thing to consider, there could be a reducer plate in here somewhere, because apparently these pumps are the same pumps that's used on the 16-cylinder, so it would imagine be a reduced amount of flow needed compared to the 16. So we'll have to have a look at that, or maybe Paulie can find out a bit of info, but it's pretty close now with a cross-sectional area. Here's a little workbench area we've made in the utility room aft. We've also pulled off the hydraulic tank and controls for the bow thruster. Not quite sure why that was installed. It's pretty much needs to completely taken apart and rebuilt. It still had water in it, and just seems a bit of a waste of time. Anyhow, it's off, so we'll have to go through that, but want to take it off to make room for the racor transfer filters, which are going to go right midship on the forward bulkhead. Here's the two pumps. The AC one, I had to get a new bronze gear pump head for it, and the other one is the 24 volt backup stroke emergency fuel transfer pump. These are the upper set of brackets for the battery rack on the forward bulkhead, with the spacers that I had made, or made over at Winfield's woodshop. So they go on the bulkhead, the same thickness as the insulation that's going to go on, and the 8D battery boxes that are going to fit on top of those. Here's the racor assembly with the fuel meter. That's what's going to go on the forward bulkhead above the fuel transfer pumps. So you'll be able to filter it, check for water, and see what sort of volume you're transferring into the day tank from the other 4 tanks. Here's the battery and racor frame in place now. After shimming the walls out, get it all nice and flat with the spacers against the bulkhead, same thickness as the insulation. Just have to put the upper bracket in now, see how it all fits in. As far as getting access to lift the battery covers off and check the fluids and everything. There'll be a flat bar across the front as a stop for the battery boxes and the batteries, but they also have captive screws in the bottom of the boxes, so they're not going to come off anyway, but just as a double precaution. So here's the next stage of the layout. That's the starboard side racors in place, showing battery boxes too. And the fuel transfer racors. And then the position for the port side, 2 sets of batteries and the racor plate. So it's gonna be a nice clear layout now. Just got to find a way for all the hoses and the battery cables to run backwards and forwards across the bulkhead. Probably lay out somewhere up here where the battery charger is going to go, and the control box for the fuel transfer pumps probably right midships there. And then look at putting some paneling up so we can mount the racors and everything up finally, because the paneling will have to go on first, but we'll look into that pretty soon.